There is a version of you the world has never met. It doesn't flinch, it doesn't stall, it doesn't shrink to fit the expectations of anyone. That version of you is caged, not by bars, but by the invisible hands of guilt, politeness, and fear. You've been taught to smile when you're angry, apologize when you're honest, and comply when you're cornered. And maybe the most dangerous part? You believe that was strength. It's not strength to be controlled. It's just decorated weakness. Most people live their entire lives playing a role that keeps them safe, agreeable, predictable, and powerless. And deep down, they know it. You know it. You've caught yourself nodding in conversations you disagreed with, laughing at things that insulted your intelligence, staying silent just to avoid conflict. You weren't being kind, you were being trained. But here's the turning point. If you keep playing by rules written by people who benefit from your weakness, your life will never belong to you. And the cost of that is everything. There's a colder version of you, not cruel. Cold kiki, as in clear, sharp, unshaken. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't seek approval. It doesn't play fair in a game designed for it to lose. When that version wakes up, you stop apologizing for your existence. You stop living like your emotions are public property. You stop being prey, and for the first time in your life, you start moving like a threat. This transformation isn't poetic, it's brutal. You'll feel resistance, not from the world, but from the side of you that still wants to be liked, to be safe, to be good. But remember, in a world that profits off obedience, good just means easy to control. Machiavelli didn't survive by being agreeable. He survived by being unreadable. He taught rulers to never depend on love when fear secures more loyalty. And while you're not leading empires, you are leading your life. So ask yourself, are you leading like a ruler or surviving like a servant? Let's be real. The world isn't built for soft souls. It's built for those who appear soft but strike like ice. People exploit kindness they don't fear. Every time you forgive without a cost, trust without evidence, or stay silent to keep the peace, you're handing out maps to your weak spots. Let's burn the map. Step 1. Erase the need to be understood. No one deserves a backstage pass to your thoughts. Silence makes people uncomfortable. Use that. Let them wonder what you're thinking. Let them guess how far you'll go. Because when people can't read you, they can't control you. Step 2. Abandon the dream of being liked. You're not a brand. You're not a product. You're a force. Start acting like one. If they like you, fine. If they hate you, fine. You are no longer in the business of managing other people's emotions. This is not a personality change. This is self-defense. You've been taught to equate empathy with submission, but real empathy has boundaries. It can love without surrender. It can understand without folding. Here's what no one told you. Power isn't gained by pretending to be fearless. It's gained by refusing to be controlled by fear. The stronger you get, the colder they'll say you've become. But let them talk. Weak people scream when they lose access. Let them choke on your silence. You're not here to be available. You're here to be undeniable. This shift doesn't feel good at first. It feels lonely. It feels tense. But you'll find something in that silence that you've never felt before. Peace. Not the fragile peace that comes from avoiding conflict. The kind of peace that comes from knowing no one owns you. You become a fortress. No keys, no tours, no soft openings. People get what you choose to give. Nothing more. You don't respond to gossip. You don't flinch at insults. You don't correct lies told about you because the truth is quiet and it doesn't beg. You'll notice something strange start to happen. People who once walked over you will start stepping carefully around you. They'll test you in small ways, probing for cracks. And when they find none, they vanish. You didn't fight them. You outgrew their ability to provoke you. This is what cold power looks like. Stillness that unnerves. Eye contact that burns through pretense. Decisions made without committee or consensus. You no longer react. You study. When someone betrays you, you don't collapse. You calculate. What did they gain? What did it cost them? What part of you trusted them, and why? And then, like a scalpel, you remove them. No speech, no warning, just silence and absence. Because in your world, betrayal is not shocking. It's expected, prepared for, neutralized. This version of you doesn't live in constant conflict. It doesn't need to. It wields calm like a blade. When people see you now, they don't just see someone stronger, they see someone untouchable. You don't chase opportunities, you attract them. You don't seek respect, you radiate it. You don't protect your peace. You become the reason the room feels different when you enter it. Let me ask you something. If the world could no longer guilt you, pressure you, or manipulate you, what version of your life would become possible? Sit with that, and now that you've found the answer, kill anything in you that keeps it out of reach. This isn't about becoming heartless. It's about becoming strategic enough to survive. You don't need to abandon compassion. Just stop weaponizing it against yourself. Every trait you've been taught to hide, your intensity, your standards, your unwillingness to play nice, those are the exact traits that will protect you. That will free you. That will make people think twice before stepping wrong. Most people want to be powerful without shedding their weaknesses. But you're not most people. You're not here to decorate your cage. You're here to break the lock and melt the bars. Cold power doesn't shout. It doesn't explain. It doesn't perform. It just is. And that's terrifying to people who live off reaction. People who poke you for attention. Who manipulate you with guilt. Who drain your energy because they know you'll give it. Not anymore. They're going to notice. They'll try harder, louder, meaner, more dramatic, because your silence will expose their powerlessness. Don't flinch. You're not ignoring them. You're starving them. You're not being cruel. You're reclaiming oxygen. This is when the war turns internal. When the old you starts whispering again. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I should explain. Every time you consider softening your standards for the sake of harmony, remember this. They only respected the version of you they could manipulate. The moment you set boundaries, the love vanished. That's not love. That's control with a mask on. And you? You've outgrown masks. You've outgrown begging for clarity, waiting for closure, apologizing for your evolution. From here forward, you move with intention and end without announcement. Cutting someone off doesn't need a finale. Walking away doesn't need a caption. The most powerful exits are silent, because now your time has weight. Your presence has gravity. Your boundaries aren't suggestions, they're borders. People cross them, they don't get warnings. They disappear. Not because you're dangerous, but because your peace is no longer up for negotiation. You're becoming a presence that can't be faked. The kind of person who walks into a room and doesn't need to speak. People just feel it. The posture, the restraint, the invisible perimeter around your energy that says, I don't need this interaction, you do. This is what real power looks like. Not dominance, not intimidation, control over yourself, your space, your decisions, your reactions. Control that doesn't rely on force, but on the fact that people know you won't tolerate what you used to. No one really talks about how addictive this gets, how peace becomes your oxygen, how solitude stops feeling empty and starts feeling like a weapon, how you start loving the parts of you that used to make you feel too much, too intense, too ambitious, too cold. You're not too anything. You were just too awake for a world built on comfort. And now that you're fully in this state, you realize how much of your past was spent trying to shrink yourself into relationships, jobs, conversations, in spaces that never deserved your full height. Not anymore. You speak less. You mean more. You wait longer, and you strike with precision. You no longer trade your dignity for validation. You no longer chase people who had to lose you to learn. You no longer explain decisions that are none of their business. The old version of you, they would have cracked by now, panicked at the silence, tried to repair what they didn't break, tried to win over people who saw boundaries as insults. But that version died when you stopped begging to be chosen. You're not standing on defense anymore. You're expanding, quietly, ruthlessly, like a storm you don't hear until it's already overhead. People around you will notice the shift. Some will call it arrogance. Others will call it ego. But the ones who know, the ones who felt what it's like to be drained, disrespected, and dismissed, they'll recognize it for what it is. A signal that you've finally taken yourself seriously, that you've stopped negotiating with your old self, that you've replaced survival with strategy. And once this becomes your standard, everything changes. You attract different people, ones who respect what you don't tolerate. You make different decisions, ones that protect your peace instead of pleasing the crowd. And you wake up with the quiet certainty that you don't owe anyone access to your mind, your energy, or your life unless they've earned it. This is how you stay untouchable, not by being perfect, but by being impossible to shake from your own values. Not by being liked, but by being respected in silence. Not by building walls of pride, but by building standards so sharp they cut the hands of anyone who tries to cross them carelessly. You'll still feel pain. You'll still feel doubt. That's part of the deal. But they won't own you. They won't lead you. You lead yourself. Cold power isn't just defense. It's dominance over the one thing that used to break you. Your need to be accepted. That need is gone. What remains is someone built from steel and silence. Someone who moves with purpose. Someone who doesn't wait to be chosen because they've already chosen themselves. So from here on out, every decision, every step, every breath you take, make it echo with the discipline of someone who refuses to go backward. This is no longer about becoming untouchable. This is about staying that way. If you felt this, if it lit something in you, if it reminded you of who you are when no one's watching, then this is your place. Subscribe. Stay here. Keep building, not for show, but for strength. Not for applause, but for survival. Because you weren't born to be moved. You were born to move the room without a sound. And you've only just begun. If you've made it this far, you're not just scrolling, you're searching for something deeper. Thanks for trusting me with your mind. If this spoke to you, like the video, hit subscribe and share it with someone who needs to reclaim their power. Until next time, stay sharp and think deeper.